My hope for the show was to see if we could come up with a vision of the afterlife that was actually consistent with our experience of life on this planet. I thought, well, maybe if the person in charge of it all, in our case played by Steve Buscemi, is maybe a little bit overmatched and in over his head and even a little bit disillusioned, maybe that would explain how things sometimes shake out down here. And that's sort of the seed that started it. And so that was the goal, was to try to come up with a new version. So in our show, the afterlife is depicted as a corporation called Heaven Inc., which is this terribly run, inefficient company. There have been horrible budget cuts. There's leaking pipes. All the computers that the angels have to use are kind of antiquated and dated and buggy. And I thought, well, maybe this would explain things.
Do you guys believe in an afterlife? And if so, what does it look like to you?
I don't tend to believe in an afterlife, but I also don't know. My instinct is that it's probably more likely that I'm just gonna, lie on the ground, and I'm cool with that. But I don't find the idea of there not being an afterlife as depressing as I think a lot of people have, because I think it does make, we only get one chance at this, and it makes that very special. But I don't know, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, I believe that you're like, when you die, you're reborn in a different part of the universe. Like the universe is like a living organism, and it's like we were like here and then we end up somewhere else. That's what I like to believe, because like we got to see other stuff than just this solar system.
Yeah, that's sort of
right. Like it's like sucks if that's life. Is like we're just like stuck.
That's quite good.
Really?
It's really.
What about the other Milky Ways? What's going on there? I want to like go there.
Well, it's like the show. It's not really a true religious satire. It really owes more to something like The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series by Douglas Adams, where it's sort of more of an existential show about our small place in the universe. And and on the surface, it is a pretty nihilistic show in the sense that we're saying that things do not usually happen for a reason. And literally in the first episode, you see that billions of prayers come into the mailroom essentially every day, and Dan's character Craig, if he's lucky, can answer 2 or 3, and not even the good ones, like finding people their car keys. So this is a very inefficient, depressing system on the surface. Our goal was to try to start from that dark place and see if we could actually get to a place of hope and redemption and make something that was ultimately life affirming. And hopefully we pulled it off, but you guys will be the judge.
I read the book a while ago and just sort of was lucky enough to meet Simon, and basically said, like, if you ever make anything of this in any capacity, like, I would love to be involved. And then about a year later, Simon phoned me. We had a conversation about doing it as a TV series, and honestly, like, if he'd said we're doing it as on the radio, I would have been like, yes, I'm in. Like, it's such. As you've just heard, like, that's such an amazing goal to try and have, to create a show with that tone, and so I was very much in.
Yeah, I read the script. I got the script as an audition they sent me the pilot, and I just absolutely loved the pilot. And then right before I had to do my chemistry test with him, they had sent me the second episode, which we just watched this morning, which is so crazy and so funny, without giving anything away. And I just remember being like, oh man, this is amazing. I have to be in it. Yeah, so it was very nervous for that audition, but luckily it worked out. Yeah.
It's thrilling. It's thrilling to find somebody that you get to that you admire and think is funny, and then you get to collaborate with them. It's one of the great miracles of being in this business, is the chance to work with people that you admire.
Yeah, honestly, like, when I say this could have been made in any medium and I would have been like into it, I don't. Obviously, it's an incredibly exciting time in American TV, and like amazing stuff is being made so much, and so I've sort of been looking for something like that for a while. But there's also the thing of a lot of American TV series are like, a 5 to 7 year contract, and you're playing the same character, and I've sort of done a long time playing one character, so I didn't like. So when Simon presented the possibility that this might be an anthology series, and so we're not locked into playing the same parts every year, and we just get to tell a new story every time. If we get a chance to do more, which I hope we do.
We looked at a just kind of industrial sprawl from the 70s and 80s, and all the technology that the Angels use is inefficient and hopelessly out of date. So you'll see a lot of kind of almost like late 80s, early 90s technology at use. And it's just, you get the sense of like, man, someone should have updated this stuff, but they never got around to it.
The idea is that like we didn't think there would be so many humans, so the angels just never have any downtime because one thing gets done and then there's thousands of other things. So they just never even had time to clean or
It's a mess.
upgrade anything. So the more people that keep getting added to Earth, it's just I hope like we just keep spiraling to like being the most unproductive company.
Like in many ways, human being, like earthly technology has outpaced.
Oh, completely.
heaven's technology.
big
That's
time.
the story, right?
Yeah.
Just like,
exactly.
Yeah. And for this ad, we filmed in an abandoned fiber optics company. So it was like this fiber optics factory that existed in Georgia and then left to go somewhere else.
Well, no, I think maybe the technology was slightly.
Or
Very
the
similar.
technology,
The
yeah,
technology
it
became
kinda went
obsolete.
away, yeah.
And this is a huge space that's been used to film different things. But
Starting with the Hunger Games back in the day.
Right.
and stuff. Like it just looks dystopian, but it's kind of perfect for the show
it
because
was perfect for us.
we built sets, but there were so many sets that we'd be like, "You guys built this?" And they're like, "No, it's just the basement of this."
Yeah, it was-
We're like, perfect.
and a lot of the equipment, like not the main stuff I have in my office, but like all of the equipment that's in the background is like
equipment
the
is
stuff that was
from
in
that
that factory that we
business,
would have cost thousands to try and get, and it was just like lying around.
So cool.
Yeah, it was so fun to build out this bizarre industrial world.
I do think it's like I know like The Simpsons is a big thing I think for all of us, and it does have that quality of just like there's a joke in the background all the time. There's a sign, there's a book, there's a something it's just there's a constant no opportunity. I feel like every opportunity was taken to like find those great jokes.
And what's cool is with this season, the story ends. So we were like moving, the episodes don't have any fat in them. Like just story moves really quick. And by
like
the end
24.
of it, there's like a clear end. Yeah, it really is.
It is. It literally.
It's like a long movie.
There is
Yeah.
a ticking clock. It's set at the end of the first episode, and the world is going to blow up in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you see that clock throughout the series, and the numbers are ticking down, and it ends. It comes to an end, and so that's one of the most exciting things about television is you can tell stories that are longer and more ensemble based than a feature. But now in this brave new world of TV, you can actually keep it narratively propulsive by having a beginning, middle, and end.